Hello and welcome to English in Fluency. I am Alex, and I am so glad you are here today to practice your English listening skills with me. Today, we have a very important topic, perhaps one of the most important topics for anyone trying to learn a new skill, build a new life, or achieve a big dream. The topic is about stopping the wait. We are talking about the trap of tomorrow. How many times have you said that? How many times have you looked at a big task, something you really want to do, like learning English, and said to yourself, I will start tomorrow. Tomorrow feels like a magic day. Tomorrow, we will have more energy. Tomorrow, we will have more time. Tomorrow, the perfect moment will arrive. But then, tomorrow comes, and it feels just like today. And so we say it again. I will start tomorrow. This is a cycle, a trap, that catches so many of us. We have big dreams, but we are waiting for a big moment of inspiration, a big block of free time, to get started. Today, we are going to talk about why that strategy fails. And more importantly, we are going to talk about the strategy that works. We are going to talk about the incredible, surprising, and life-changing power of small, daily habits. To help us understand this journey, I want to tell you a story. This is a story about a man named Liam. Liam was, in many ways, a very average man. He lived in a small apartment in the city. He worked a job that he did not love, but he also did not hate. It was just a job. He worked in an office, doing data entry. He would look at numbers on one screen and type them into another screen all day long. Click, clack, click, clack, went his keyboard. He was good at it. He was reliable. But he was bored. He felt stuck. Deep inside, Liam had a dream. He didn't talk about it much. He was almost embarrassed by it. Liam wanted to be a programmer. He loved technology. He loved the idea of creating something from nothing, of writing code that could solve a problem or build an application. He imagined himself working at a cool tech company, or perhaps building his own small app. This dream felt bright and exciting. It also felt absolutely, completely impossible. When he looked at his dream, it felt like a giant mountain. He was at the very bottom, and the top was hidden in the clouds. So, what did Liam do? He did what many of us do. He prepared. He bought a book. It was a very thick book, a heavy book, with a bright yellow cover. It was called Python for Everyone. Python is a programming language. He brought the book home, feeling very excited. He put it on his desk. This is it, he thought. This is the beginning of my new life. He opened the first page. He read about variables and strings and syntax. It felt confusing. His head started to hurt a little. He looked at the clock. It was already 8 o'clock at night. He was tired from his job. You know what? Liam said to himself, closing the book. I am really tired tonight. I can't focus properly. I will start tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. I will wake up early. I'll be fresh. And I will study for the whole day. Yes, that is a much better plan. So, he put the book on his shelf. And the next day, Saturday, he woke up. But his friends called. They wanted to go out for breakfast. And then he had to do his laundry. And then it was lunch. Suddenly, the day was half gone. He looked at the book. I'll start this afternoon, he said. But the afternoon felt lazy. He watched a movie. And soon, the day was over. The book stayed on the shelf. A week passed. Then a month. The bright yellow book was still on the shelf, but now it had a thin layer of dust on it. Every time Liam saw it, he felt a little bit guilty. He would tell himself, I've just been so busy. I'll start next week, for sure. But next week never came. Liam was stuck in the tomorrow trap. His big dream was so big, so intimidating, that starting felt too hard. It was easier to wait for a perfect day, a perfect moment of motivation that never arrived. This feeling is called procrastination. Let's learn that word together. Procrastination. 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 It is the action of delaying or postponing something. You know you should do it, but you find other, easier things to do instead. Liam was procrastinating. Maybe you procrastinate with your English studies. You think, I should practice listening, but then you check your phone or watch a video in your own language. It's a very human feeling. We procrastinate because the task seems too big, or too difficult, or we are afraid of failing. For Liam, it was all three. One day, something happened at Liam's boring office job. His boss called a meeting. I have an exciting announcement, his boss said. As you know, our department has been working very hard. And I want to recognize someone who has gone above and beyond. Liam sat up a little straighter. He had been reliable. Maybe it was him. I am promoting Ben to team lead. Liam's heart sank. Ben? Ben was 5 years younger than him. He had only been at the company for 2 years. His boss continued, Ben, on his own time, developed a small program, a script, that automates the monthly report. This task used to take our team 2 full days. Now it takes 5 minutes. Everyone clapped. Ben stood up, smiling. Liam clapped too, but his hands felt heavy. He felt sick. He knew exactly what task his boss was talking about. It was the task he usually did. It was boring and repetitive. And Ben had automated it. Ben had used programming. He had used the skills that Liam dreamed of having, the skills from the dusty yellow book on his shelf. That night, Liam went home feeling angry. He was angry at Ben. He was angry at his boss. But mostly, he was angry at himself. He walked into his apartment and stared at the yellow book. That's it, he said out loud. No more waiting. Tomorrow is Saturday. I am not doing anything else. I am going to study this book for 8 hours. I am going to learn this. This time, he was serious. On Saturday morning, Liam woke up at 7. He made a huge pot of coffee. He sat at his desk. He opened the book. Chapter 1. Introduction to Python. He read. He read about installing the software. It was complicated. He had to download files, set paths, and use the command line. It took him almost 2 hours just to get the program running. He was already frustrated. He kept going. He started to type the examples. Print, hello, world. It worked. He felt a tiny spark of success. But then he got to the next part. Loops and conditionals. The book said, this is very simple. But to Liam, it was not simple. It was very, very confusing. His code kept giving him error messages. Red text filled his screen. He didn't understand what he was doing wrong. He checked his phone. Just for a minute. That minute turned into 20 minutes. He looked back at the screen. He felt a headache starting. He had been sitting for 4 hours. He was only on chapter 3. The book had 30 chapters. This is impossible, he whispered. I'm just not smart enough for this. Ben must be a genius. I'm just a data entry guy. He felt completely defeated. He felt stupid. He closed the book. He had planned for 8 hours. He lasted 4. And he felt like he had learned nothing. He stood up from his desk, went to the sofa, and turned on the television. He felt worse than before. Before, he had a dream. Now his dream felt dead. He had tried, and he had failed. The yellow book was now a symbol of his failure. He didn't just put it back on the shelf. He put it in a drawer, under some old papers. He didn't want to see it anymore. Let's pause Liam's story for a moment. What happened here? Liam finally stopped procrastinating, right? He took massive action. He set a huge goal. 8 hours of study. But it failed. Why? This is a very important lesson. Liam fell into another trap. It is the all-or-nothing trap. Have you heard this phrase? All or nothing. It means you must do everything perfectly, or you do nothing at all. Liam thought he had to become a programmer in one day, in one long, painful study session. When the task is huge, our brain tries to protect us. It sees 8 hours of difficult, new information as a threat, as pain. And so, our brain seeks distraction. It makes us check our phone. It makes us feel tired. It tells us, this is too hard. Let's stop and do something easy, like watch TV. Liam's motivation was high when he started, but motivation is like a battery. It runs out. You cannot run a marathon on motivation alone. He was relying on a feeling, and feelings change. This is what happens when we wait for tomorrow. We build the task up in our minds. We think we must do something big. We say, I will practice English for 3 hours on Sunday. But when Sunday comes, 3 hours feels too big. So we do nothing, and we wait for next Sunday. Liam's big attempt failed, and now he felt even more hopeless. He believed the problem was him. He thought, I am not smart enough. He was wrong. The problem was not him. The problem was his method. Let's go back to Liam. A few weeks passed. He went to work. He did his data entry. Ben was now the team lead, and Liam had to send him reports. It felt terrible. Liam had given up on his dream. He was just trying to get through the day. One afternoon, after work, he stopped at a small, quiet coffee shop he had never visited before. He just wanted to sit somewhere new. The only other person there, besides a few quiet customers, was the owner, an older woman who was wiping down the counter. Her name was Sarah. She had kind eyes and gray hair tied back. Liam ordered a black coffee and sat by the window, staring at the rain. He must have looked as sad as he felt, because after a few minutes, Sarah brought him his coffee and said, "A hard day?" Liam was surprised. He usually didn't talk about his problems, but something about her kind face made him talk. "You could say that," he said. And then he told her. He told her about his boring job, his dream of being a programmer, the big yellow book, and his total failure on Saturday. "I studied for 4 hours, and I just couldn't do it," he said. "I'm just not smart enough. I guess I should just accept my job." Sarah listened patiently. She nodded. When he was finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You tried to climb the whole mountain in one day. Of course you fell. A mountain isn't climbed in one giant leap. It's climbed in 10,000 tiny steps." Liam looked confused. "What do you mean?" "You set a goal of 8 hours," she said. "That's not a step. That's the entire journey. What if your goal was not 8 hours? What if it was 10 minutes? Liam almost laughed. 10 minutes? What can anyone learn in 10 minutes? I need to learn an entire language. 10 minutes it's nothing. It's useless." Sarah smiled gently. "Is it? What if you did 10 minutes tomorrow, and then 10 minutes the day after that, and 10 minutes every day for a month? That would be 300 minutes. That's 5 hours. Is 5 hours nothing?" She continued, The problem isn't the book. The problem is, you think you have to finish the book. You don't. You just have to open it. The goal is not to become a programmer. The goal is to sit at your desk for 10 minutes. That's it. Just 10 minutes. Can you do that? Liam thought about it. 10 minutes. He thought about his 8-hour failure. 10 minutes seemed, well, it seemed possible. It still seemed useless, but it was possible. I guess I could do that, he said. But what's the point? I'll never get anywhere at that speed. It's not about speed, Sarah said, picking up his empty cup. It's about direction. And it's about consistency. 10 minutes every single day is more powerful than 8 hours once a month. The first day, you lay 1 brick. It looks small. The second day, you lay another. You still just have 2 bricks. But if you lay 1 brick every day, every single day, by the end of the year, you have a wall. Stop trying to build a castle overnight. Just lay 1 brick. Liam left the coffee shop feeling different. He wasn't excited. He wasn't motivated. He just felt thoughtful. Just lay 1 brick. The goal is to sit for 10 minutes. It sounded too simple, but his big, complicated plan had failed completely. Maybe this simple, stupid plan was worth trying. That night, Liam went home. He looked at the drawer where he had hidden the yellow book. He felt a familiar sense of tiredness. I'll do it tomorrow, he thought. But then he stopped. He heard Sarah's voice in his head. Just 10 minutes. He sighed. Okay. 10 minutes. He took the book out of the drawer. He set a timer on his phone for 10 minutes. He sat at his desk. He opened the book to chapter 3, the place where he had failed. He read 1 paragraph. It was still confusing. He read it again. He looked at an example. He typed it. He got an error. He looked closely. He missed a colon, a tiny dot. He added it. He ran the code. It worked. He read another paragraph. And then his phone timer rang. 10 minutes were over. A strange feeling came over him. His brain didn't hurt. He wasn't frustrated. He wasn't exhausted. He had studied. And it was okay. It wasn't fun, but it wasn't painful. He closed the book. He had completed his goal. His goal was not understand chapter 3. His goal was sit for 10 minutes. And he had done it. He felt a very small, very tiny spark. It wasn't the big, fiery motivation he felt before. It was a quiet feeling of accomplishment. The next day, he came home from work. He was tired. The sofa looked very comfortable. The television was calling his name. He thought, I don't want to study. And then he remembered. It's just 10 minutes. This is the magic of the small habit. Just 10 minutes is too small to argue with. It's harder to decide not to do it than to just do it. So, he sighed, set the timer, and sat down. He did his 10 minutes. He did this the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. On the 5th day, something interesting happened. The timer rang, but Liam was in the middle of a problem. He almost understood it. He ignored the timer. He kept working. He typed. He read. He erased. And then he got it. He understood how the loop worked. He looked at the clock. He had been working for 20 minutes. He hadn't even noticed. He felt a real spark of excitement. This was the feeling he had been looking for. This is the secret. Alex here again. I want to explain what was happening to Liam. He had discovered the most powerful force in self-improvement. It is called the compound effect. This is a very important idea. The compound effect is the idea that small, consistent actions over a long period of time lead to massive, massive results. Think about money. If you save $1 every day, it's not much. But if you do it for 20 years, you have a lot of money. It's the same with habits. 10 minutes of programming seems like nothing. But 10 minutes every day for a year is 3,650 minutes. That is over 60 hours. 60 hours of focused study is not nothing. It is a huge achievement. Liam's first attempt failed because he relied on motivation. His second attempt built motivation. This is a key lesson I want you to learn for your English practice. Do not wait to be motivated. Motivation is the result of action, not the cause of it. When Liam sat down for 10 minutes, he did the action. When he solved a small problem, he felt successful. That feeling of success created motivation. This made him want to do it again the next day. He was creating a positive feedback loop. Let's practice some of this vocabulary. The first word is consistency. C-O-N-S-I-S-T-E-N-C-Y. Consistency. This means doing something in the same way over time. Liam was now being consistent. He was practicing every day. Let's try to use it in a sentence. Listen and repeat. Consistency is more important than intensity. One more time. Consistency is more important than intensity. This means doing a little bit every day. Consistency is better than doing a lot one day. Intensity. Another key phrase is all or nothing thinking. Liam did this first. He thought, I must study for 8 hours, or I will study for 0 hours. This is a trap. For your English, maybe you think, I must have a 1-hour conversation with a native speaker, or I will do nothing. This is all or nothing thinking. It is better to listen to this podcast for 10 minutes. It is better to learn 3 new vocabulary words. The small action you do is always better than the perfect, big action you don't do. Let's go back to Liam. His new habit was growing. After 2 weeks, 10 minutes regularly became 15 or 20 minutes. He finished Chapter 3. He finished Chapter 4. He was building momentum. Let's learn that word. Momentum. Momentum. This is a force that makes a moving object keep moving. When you start a small habit, you build momentum. The first day is the hardest. The second day is a little easier. The 30th day is almost automatic. Liam was building momentum. But the journey was not perfect. No journey ever is. About 6 weeks into his new habit, Liam got sick. He had a bad flu. He came home from work and felt terrible. He had a fever and a headache. He looked at his computer. He thought, I have to do my 10 minutes. But he just couldn't. He was too sick. He fell asleep on the sofa. He missed a day. The next day, he was still sick. He missed another day. And the day after that. He missed 3 days in a row. On the 4th day, he felt better. He was not sick anymore. But now, he felt a new, bad feeling. He felt dread. He had broken his chain. He had a streak of 42 days, and now it was broken. The all-or-nothing voice came back into his head. You failed, it whispered. You broke the habit. It's over. You might as well just give up. You can't even do 10 minutes. You are a failure. This is a very dangerous moment. This is the moment most people quit. They are perfect for a few weeks, and then one small thing goes wrong. They miss one day, and they see this as proof that they cannot do it. They give up completely. Liam sat at his kitchen table. He heard that voice in his head. He thought about the yellow book. He thought about just putting it back in the drawer. But then he remembered his conversation with Sarah, the coffee shop owner. He remembered her words. A mountain is climbed in 10,000 tiny steps. He had missed 3 steps. But the mountain was still there. He was just 3 steps behind. He hadn't fallen all the way back to the bottom. He remembered another rule he had read about habits. The rule is not, never miss a day. That is impossible. Life happens. You get sick. You have an emergency. You are too tired. The rule is, never miss twice. Missing 1 day is an accident. Missing 2 days in a row is the start of a new, bad habit. Liam had missed 3 days, but he could still make a decision. He could make today day 1 of a new streak. His old streak of 42 days was gone, but he could start a new one. Just 10 minutes, he said to himself. His voice was quiet, but it was stronger than the voice of failure in his head. He walked to his desk. He set the timer for 10 minutes. He opened the book. It was hard. His brain felt rusty after 3 days off. But he did it. He finished his 10 minutes. The timer rang. He closed the book. He had not failed. He had stumbled. He had paused. But he had not quit. This was the biggest victory of his journey so far. It was more important than finishing a chapter. It was the victory of choosing consistency over perfection. He learned that it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to be imperfect. The important thing is to just start again. This is a lesson I really want you to take for your English learning. You will have a plan. You will say, I will listen to English every day. And then, one day, you will be too busy. You will miss it. Do not say, I failed. I am bad at English. I quit. Number. That is the all-or-nothing trap. You must say, that was 1 day. Life is busy. Today, I will start again. I will listen for 5 minutes. Never miss twice. That is the secret. Forgive yourself for the missed day and get back on track immediately. Liam was back on track. His small habit continued. The days turned into weeks. The weeks turned into months. His 10 minutes was now, almost always, 30 or 40 minutes. It was no longer a chore. It was no longer something he had to do. It was something he wanted to do. He was starting to enjoy it. He was solving problems. He was building tiny, small projects. He built a small calculator. He built a tiny game. They were simple, but they worked. He had made them. He bought another book. Intermediate Python. He started an online course. He was no longer just learning. He was practicing. He was a person who coded. He was not a professional programmer, not yet. But he was no longer just a data entry guy. He was a person who coded every day. His identity was changing. This is another amazing power of small habits. They change how you see yourself. When Liam tried to study for 8 hours, he saw himself as a failure. When he succeeded at studying for 10 minutes, he saw himself as a successful person. When you practice English for just 5 minutes every day, you are no longer someone who wants to learn English. You are an English learner. You are a person who studies English. This change in your identity is a very powerful motivator. You start to act like the person you want to become. Let's think about your own small habits. What is one small thing you can do for your English? Maybe it's not 10 minutes. Maybe it's 5. Maybe it is the 2-minute rule, which is a famous idea from a book called Atomic Habits. The rule is, any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to start. So, for English, instead of, I will study grammar for an hour, your goal is, I will open my grammar book and read 1 sentence. That's it. It takes less than 2 minutes. But the magic is, once you have the book open, you will probably read more. Instead of, I will practice my speaking, your goal is, I will say 1 new English word out loud. Instead of, I will listen to a podcast, your goal is, I will press play on the podcast. The goal is to make starting so easy, so simple, that you cannot say no. Liam's 10 minutes was his version of this. He made it easy to start, and by starting, he built momentum. And that momentum, over time, changed his life. Let's check in on Liam. It has now been 1 full year since he met Sarah at the coffee shop. 1 year since he started his 10-minute habit. Liam is still working at the same company. He is still in the data entry department. Ben is still his boss. From the outside, not much has changed. But inside, everything has changed. One afternoon, a big new project comes to their department. It's a mess. A different company has sent them thousands of files, but the data is in the wrong format. It's all mixed up. Liam's boss, Ben, looks stressed. "This is a disaster," Ben says in a meeting. "It will take us weeks to manually fix all of this. We will have to work overtime, probably weekends." Everyone in the room groans. More boring, repetitive work. The old Liam would have groaned too. He would have accepted it. But the new Liam, the Liam who had been coding for 30 minutes every day for a year, looked at the problem differently. He looked at the error. He looked at the files. And he thought, wait a minute. The files are all wrong in the same way. I think I can write a script for this. He was nervous. This was not a textbook problem. This was a real business problem. He said quietly, "Ben, can I try something?" Ben looked at him, surprised. "What, Liam?" "I think I might be able to write a small Python program to fix these files," Liam said. His voice was shaking a little. "It might not work, but can I try?" Ben was doubtful. He knew Liam as the quiet data entry guy. "A program? You know how to program?" "I've been learning," Liam said, "for about a year. Just on my own. Let me try tonight. It's better than all of us working all weekend, right?" Ben shrugged. "Okay, Liam. Go for it. But don't waste too much time. We need to start fixing these manually tomorrow." That night, Liam went home. He did not feel tired. He felt electrified. This was it. This was a real challenge. He sat at his desk. He opened his computer. He started to write. He used the skills he had learned, 1 10-minute block at a time. He used loops to go through the files. He used conditionals to find the errors. He used string manipulation to fix them. These were all words that had terrified him a year ago. Now, they were his tools. He worked for hours. He got stuck. He got error messages. But this time, he didn't feel like a failure. He didn't feel like giving up. He saw the errors as puzzles. Okay, what is this trying to tell me? He searched online. He read forums. He tried something. It failed. He tried something else. Finally, at 2 o'clock in the morning, he ran the program. He pointed it at one of the broken files. He hit Enter. He watched the screen, and in 3 seconds, the program finished. He opened the new file. He checked the data. It was perfect. It was correct. He ran the program on 10 files, then 100. It worked every time. He had done it. He had built a tool that solved the problem. He felt a wave of joy and pride so strong it almost made him cry. He was not just a person who codes. He was a programmer. The next morning, he went to work. He was exhausted, but he was buzzing with energy. He called Ben over to his desk. "I think I have something," he said. He showed him. He ran the program on the entire folder of thousands of broken files. In less than 10 minutes, the program had fixed every single one. Ben just stared. His mouth was open. He He looked at the files. He looked at Liam. Liam, how did you do this? Liam smiled. It was the first time he had truly, genuinely smiled at work in years. I've been practicing, he said. Just a little bit, every day. Liam's story is not a fantasy. He did not become a millionaire overnight. He did not get a job at Google the next day. His life did not magically become perfect. But his life changed. He was no longer the bored, hopeless man stuck in a job he didn't like. He was Liam, the programmer. He was the guy who solved the big problem. His colleagues looked at him with new respect. His boss, Ben, gave him a new title and a raise. He was now in charge of process automation for the department. He was getting paid to do the thing he loved. His journey started not with a massive 8-hour day of suffering. It started with a small, useless 10-minute promise. It started when he stopped waiting for tomorrow and just started with today. He stopped trying to climb the mountain in one leap. He just focused on laying one brick perfectly every single day. And a year later, he looked back, and he had built a wall. No, he had built the foundation for a whole new house. This is the power we are talking about today. This is the power of small daily habits. Liam's story is about programming, but it is not about programming. It is about learning. It is about growth. It is about overcoming the fear and the procrastination that keeps us stuck. Now, I want you to think about yourself. What is your python? What is your yellow book sitting on the shelf collecting dust? For many of you listening to this podcast, your python is English. You have a big, beautiful dream. Maybe you want to travel. You want to get a better job. You want to connect with people from other countries. You want to watch movies without subtitles. That is your mountain. And maybe, like Liam, you feel overwhelmed. You look at the mountain and it seems too big. You think about all the grammar rules, all the vocabulary, the confusing pronunciation. You think, I have to study for hours and hours. And so, you wait. You say, I'll start tomorrow. Or maybe you did try. Maybe you bought an expensive course, or you studied for a whole weekend, and you got tired and frustrated. You felt like a failure. You thought, I am just not good at languages. If this is you, I want you to hear me. You are not the problem. Your method is the problem. You are trying to climb the mountain in one day. I am asking you today to become like Liam. I am asking you to find your 10 minutes. That is your English listening practice. Maybe your small habit is just listening to this podcast. You don't have to understand every word. The goal is not to understand 100%. The goal is to press play. The goal is to listen for 10 minutes. What else could your 10-minute habit be? Maybe it is learning 3 new vocabulary words. Just 3. You write them down. You say them out loud. 10 minutes. Maybe it is writing 1 short paragraph in English. It can be about your day. It can have mistakes. It doesn't matter. The goal is to write, not to be perfect. 10 minutes. Maybe it is reading 1 page of a book in English. Just 1 page. 10 minutes. Maybe it is practicing your pronunciation. You listen to a phrase and you repeat it. Like we did earlier. Consistency is more important than intensity. You say it until it feels a little more natural. 10 minutes. Find your 10 minutes. Make it so small, so easy, that you cannot say no. The goal is not to become fluent in one day. The goal is to be 1% better than you were yesterday. Because 1% every day adds up. The compound effect is real. That 1% every day means that in 70 days, you are twice as good. In 1 year, you are 37 times better. It is a slow, quiet, invisible process. You won't see the results tomorrow. You won't even see them next week. But if you are consistent, if you just lay your brick every day, in 6 months, in a year, you will look back and you will be amazed at how far you have come. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is not a visitor that comes to your door. Motivation is a reward you earn after you do the work. Start the action. The motivation will follow. Stop waiting for the perfect day. The perfect day with no work, no stress, and lots of energy does not exist. All we have is today. Today is messy. Today is imperfect. And today is the only day you can take action. And most importantly, forgive yourself. You will miss a day. You are human. You will get sick, or busy, or just forget. Do not fall into the all-or-nothing trap. Do not quit. Just remember the most important rule. Never miss twice. Acknowledge the missed day and get right back on track the next day. Your consistency is your superpower. Liam's story ended with him finding success at his job. But the real success was not the raise. The real success was that he learned how to learn. He learned how to build a new identity. He learned how to trust himself. He learned how to beat procrastination, not by force, but by strategy. He learned that the biggest dreams are not achieved by giant leaps. They are achieved by 1,000 small, patient, consistent steps. So, what is your first step? What is your 10-minute promise to yourself? What is the one small brick you can lay today? Not tomorrow. Today. Thank you so much for listening to English in Fluency. I am Alex. I hope this story and these ideas were helpful for you. I hope they inspire you to stop waiting and to start building. Your dream, your English mountain, is waiting for you. And you climb it one small step at a time. If you enjoyed this podcast and found it helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel, English in Fluency. It helps us reach more learners just like you. And please, leave a comment below. I would love to read it. Tell me, what is your 10-minute habit going to be? What is the one small step you will take today? Share your plan. Writing it down makes it real. Thank you again for practicing your English with me. Keep going. Be consistent. And I will see you in the next one.